What I want to do now is I want to shift a little bit. So we've been talking about what public speaking is and how to avoid it. I want to show you a clip, a regrettable clip, of someone who didn't avoid it. I've got this clip that I've shown for a number of years, and we've got a release to show it, thanks to the city of Bloomington. Before I came to the University of Washington, I was a graduate student at the Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. And at the time that I was there, they were considering passing a ban on smoking in public places, and this was a citywide ban. And so, there were arguments for and against, this will protect public health, this is an unfair governmental overreach, whatever. So the city council was holding a meeting, and this is, at city council meetings, citizens can get up and deliver speeches. And so I just happened to be videotaping cable access television of city council meetings. I assume everyone does that. And so I was videotaping this, and I got this clip, and I've used it for years because it illustrates just so much about what happens when public speaking apprehension occurs. So what I want you to do is I want you to watch this clip for two things. I want you to watch this clip first for what is he doing that you think is making him nervous, that's making him more apprehensive. And then second, what is he doing that shows that apprehensiveness? How's he performing it so that anyone sitting there or watching the video knows, oh, this guy's losing it. So I want you to watch for these two things. What's he doing that may be making him more nervous, and how's he performing that nervousness so that you know that it's occurring?
Okay, there are over 4,000 chemicals in cigarette smoke. We know that. Any science professional can tell you that smoke itself does not cause cancer. Smoke's a combination of a bunch of different chemicals. Cancer is caused by the body's reaction, negative reaction to a particular chemical or chemicals. All of the suspect chemicals that are in environmental tobacco smoke are regulated by OSHA. They all have maximums set for public workplaces. To refer to something as being scientific, for it to be reliable, you have to have three things. One of them, it has to be measure only what is intended to measure. The variables examined are the only differences between the measured phenomena and what is taken at zero risk, and the results must be reproducible in a laboratory. All of this excitement, the reason everybody's turned out so much for this is because it's all open to interpretation. No one has any facts. All you have is the studies done, which were questionnaires, basically. They were questionnaires, or do you feel very strongly about this, or kind of strongly? That's where they got the information in the epidemiological studies that they used, the EPA used, everyone else used. There are lots of pollutants generated, automobiles, power generating plants, things like that. One of the major generators of pollution, or was at one point, was hospital incinerators. One of the #1 producers of dioxin, which is linked directly to breast cancer. It's been proven that ETS doesn't cause breast cancer. If you, excuse me, I can't get my,
Mike, you have a minute. Okay.
I'm
just relax. You have a minute.
Okay, thank you. All right. I get it. I'm not a public speaker.
No, I'm holding it.
I'd like to let somebody else do it. Okay. Anyway, the references, all the references that I've seen, I've probably done 300 hours of research since this all started. I went to the website that the hospital gave. It's a anti-tobacco lobby called Americans for Non-Smokers' Rights. It was founded by a gentleman named Stanton Glantz. Stanton Glantz is the one who started the number 53,000 back in 1991. If you look at any of his other articles, he refers to it a lot. He never references it with any kind of study or anything. He just uses the number. You can see it, and see I have an article from 10 years later. Luckily, it's still the same number. I guess ETS hasn't killed anybody. It kills the same number every year. Every single article, it's 53,000. Okay, most of you have gotten studies from the Oak Ridge National Laboratory.
Mike, you're on time.
I am?
Yeah,
Okay.
you've used three minutes plus.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Wow, that hurts to watch. I have watched that clip hundreds of times, and every time I do, I'm like, come on, dude, this time you can do it. This time you're going to be awesome and excellent. And it hurts to watch. And what hurts more is he's doing so much stuff that is actually causing his apprehension. And what kills me is a lot of that stuff is avoidable. So, you know, you see he walks up there with a stack full of notes. He has not prepared that as a speech, as a presentation. That's a city council meeting. Normal citizen commentary at a city council meeting is 3 minutes. That's an impromptu speech. Just as a quick test here, this was at a city council meeting arguing for a ban on smoking in public places. Was he for or against the ban? He was against it, but you wouldn't necessarily know that to look at that clip, okay? Because it is so muddled that it's hard to suss out exactly what he's saying. The claims are not clear. And in fact, he spends so much time talking about evidence. ETS, he never defines this term. ETS is environmental tobacco smoke. In essence, what his argument is the research indicating environmental tobacco smoke is dangerous is flawed. That's his argument, but you can't get at it through what he says. But he's doing so much that's only making his apprehension that much worse. I asked you to look for two things. What's he doing that's making it worse, and how's he telegraphing that knowledge to you? What's he doing? Well, he's not thinking about the speech as a speech. He's getting up there and he says he spends all these hours of research, but he didn't think about how to craft this as something that could be followed along with as a listener. Okay, so that's avoidable. You can get around some of these apprehensive issues by planning a good speech. We talked about skills training. That would be one way to reduce apprehensiveness there. But I want to continue on in the next lecture and talk about the thing that stands out most to me in that clip, which is his breathing. You may notice at the end he steps away and he says, I can't get my breath. We're going to take that up in the next lecture. This was about apprehension. Apprehension is totally normal. Everyone is going to experience some type of public speaking apprehension, either because you have a propensity towards it or certain situations are more or less apprehensive than others, or create more apprehension than others. There are some distinct and useful prevention techniques that I wish that speaker would have known of so that he didn't have to go through that. One is being more familiar with a variety of speaking situations, becoming desensitized to any one speaking situation as being apprehensive. Two, changing your approach to public speaking, not making it about an overly formal presentation. In that video that we just watched, after he has his mild heart attack, he steps back and he regathers his thoughts and he starts just talking to the city council. That second part of the speech is infinitely better than the first because then it's much more on the communication orientation than the performance side. But we can change how we think about public speaking and in doing so reduce some of our level of apprehension. But of course, and what this course is about is skills training, understanding how to put together a speech and perform a speech so that you're just good at it. And if you're good at it, you're probably going to feel less apprehensive in any one situation. So in the next lecture, we're going to talk about the breathing and projection problems that he had. But we can end now by saying that was painful apprehension. Speech apprehension is real, and it hurts. It hurts to watch, and it hurts to experience. But, and this is what gives me hope at least, it is avoidable. It is manageable. And that's what we need to be working on.